Well, hello everybody. D'Artagnan here for another Sunday afternoon of fine music. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope it's all going well. I know it's still unusual Valentine's Day during the pandemic, but I hear a lot of people are ordering in some good food and doing things at home. It's good times. My wife and I ordered in pizza on Friday night. Didn't really have much planned for today, but we've had a good weekend anyway of coupley things, so that's been good. Alrighty, well, um, my hands are like ice cold right now. I'm not sure. I've been playing actually a lot today. I just finished recording a tutorial video for some of my students, which I'm starting to upload educational videos to my YouTube channel. So I started with doing some 3-octave scales and arpeggios because there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of that online. So I thought I would start to add to it. I've had quite a few requests for stuff like that. So after my stream is over, I'll be uploading that video. Alrighty, well, maybe I'll just jump into playing a few easy pieces and see if my hands warm up again. Alrighty. Hands are still cold, but that wasn't too bad. That was the Minuet in G by Beethoven. And here is a Minuet by Bach. There we go. My left hand is starting to warm up, but my right hand is still ice cold. Ugh. Well, I'm sure it'll get there eventually. It is cold. It is a little cool down here. I was running my heater constantly, but it just still sometimes, it's that bitter Alberta weather. Although it is finally starting to get nicer, so that is good. I do have to get a little bit more active. I was really active yesterday, though. I was working out in my shop yesterday a lot and shoveling snow, which actually kept me quite warm. And then I got up on the roof and cleared the snow off of our solar panels, so that way we can get maximum power, maximum efficiency out of them. They work really well in the wintertime, actually. As long as you keep most of the snow off of them. Our roof is a little too shallow for the snow to fall off by itself, so I have to get up there every so often or use a roof rake to pull it down. But I've only done it like 3 times this year, so it's really not too bad. It's an extra chore, but it helps keep me in shape. So, all right. I have to say, I have been having a lot of fun in my shop. I've been working on these 2 giant workbenches, and so that took up quite a bit of my time over the last couple of days, getting these benches made. And one of them is just a big, massive 4 foot by 8 foot workbench, which is going to give me a lot of space to work and build the things that I want to build. And then the other one is just under 3 feet by 8 feet, and it's got my router table and my table saw inserts placed into it. That one's not they're both not finished yet, but they're almost there. And then they're going to be able to latch together as well, so that I can use both of them as a giant outfeed table if I'm doing really large cuts. So, yep, I've been having lots of fun in my shop. But I've been having fun in my studio too. Teaching has gone really well this week. My students are just absolutely fantastic. I have to say I'm really enjoying teaching this year, even though the pandemic has made it quite different. But everybody's doing so well. And so a big congratulations to my students who are really working hard and doing some awesome stuff. And then, of course, yeah, I've started to record some educational videos, which I'm going to begin uploading pretty soon. So it's given me a chance to explore my new video editing software. I'm just using OpenShot. It's an open source video editor. And I'm just kind of wading into it. Video editing is tricky stuff, and I definitely do not have any training in that area. But I'm more or less happy with my first educational video. I have nice fade-ins and titles and things like that, so it should be good. All right. Here's Courante, which is a type of a dance. This one is also by Bach, and I believe I played it a few weeks ago. I haven't played it recently, though. So let's see how my ice-cold fingers will do with this piece. Yep. Still waiting for my hands to warm up. This is unusual. Oh well. Okay. Let's jump into something slightly newer. A little bit of Mozart, out of the Baroque and into the classical. This is one of my favorite minuets by Mozart. All right. If you're just joining us, welcome. Welcome to the channel. I'm D'Artagnan, and I'll be here playing violin and chatting with you fine folks for the next hour, maybe hour and a half. We'll see how things unfold. All right. Let's jump onto something a lot more recent. Fiddle tunes. These seem to be more popular amongst a lot of people. Although, some good old Baroque and classical music can be very, I think, is more romantic. That is, if you're hoping for a more romantic mood today. I didn't really plan anything specifically special for this stream. Um, just my usual, and I didn't unfortunately didn't record anything special for this stream either, like I had for the first few weeks, because I was so busy in my shop, and then I decided to record educational videos this week instead. So I've got lots of stuff on my list that I'm like doing with all this stuff. So I'm really hoping of the next couple weeks that I'll be able to put together another piece of chamber music for you guys. But we'll see. We shall see. All right. The Picnic Basket Waltz. I do seem to like a good waltz. Ooh, this one's got two parts. Let's open up Audacity and play the duet. Check my desktop audio, should be on. Alrighty. Butterfly, how's it going? Me and Daniel want to learn that one to play. Which one? The Meadowlark Waltz that I just played, or the Picnic Basket Waltz that I played just previously? I didn't see exactly when your message came in, so. But yes, fiddle tunes. Yes, I've got a lot of requests for those from my students, and I'm getting there with that stuff. There's quite a few. Picnic Basket Waltz. Yeah, that is a good one. I can definitely get that one to you and show you how to play it. Actually, I would say it's in D major. It's got some trickier bits in it, but it's not that much more difficult than the stuff that's in later book one, Suzuki Book 1. So as you guys get a little further into it, I'd be able to teach you a lot of these fiddle tunes actually in probably fairly short order. Or both duets are fun. Well, hey, and you've got like multiple people in the house that play the same instrument. So, one of you can learn one part, one of you could learn the other part. And maybe we can even get like Q on like a figured bass on the chord chart or something, playing open strings. That would be so much fun. And see, in C, I can't remember what key I played it in last time, but yeah, C's not too bad. So, yeah, start the family band there. I used to play this stuff all the time, or fiddle tunes, not just fiddle tunes, a lot of different things with my sisters, um, who also are both very good violinists. They decided not to go into it as a professional career, but they are both just fantastic violinists. They can both play the viola as well. And my youngest sister also plays the cello. She decided she wanted to take up the cello when she's a teenager. So she has hit almost all the stringed instruments in the violin family. That is whether or not you consider the double bass a part of the violin family. There's a huge debate around that. But that's another long story I could go on for a little while about. Um, but yeah, so they, unfortunately, yeah, they don't play much anymore, but, we do, we used to play together all the time as students. You had a family band too? Nice. Very nice. Well, and hey, my dad is an amazing accordion player, like just absolutely fantastic, and we had a lot of fun jamming with him when we were younger too. So that was good times. He pulled out his accordion a few months ago, and he was going to play. He didn't feel like he could play very well anymore. Of course, I mean, every time he took a hiatus, every time I heard him play, I thought it sounded fantastic. I felt like he didn't really lose much at all. And he always took a little while in between, playing. But unfortunately, this time he found that the reeds in his accordion had dried out, and he's trying to find a place to have it serviced. So the accordion doesn't work too well right now. But hopefully he'll get that sorted, and then he can play again. That could be lots of fun, especially when you're doing fiddle tunes and things like that. I mean, doing the chord chart, like creating your own like a little improvised figured bass on a keyboard of any kind is lots of fun and adds a lot of depth to it. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. The April Morning Waltz. I can't remember. Did I record this one? Close. Recent files. I did. Can always get together post-COVID and go to visit seniors' homes. They're an amazing place to practice concerts and always have an audience, even if stuff is super rusty. Oh, absolutely. And actually, pre-COVID, I was taking my groups of students to the seniors' homes to entertain them, especially around the holidays. It was a great way to put on a concert and just, do some nice, and fun community outreach. And they really appreciate it. And it's a lot of fun. One thing I didn't arrange for this year was I should have seen if there was a way that the seniors' homes that we often visit could have maybe streamed us in. But I didn't get that far because it's been a crazy, crazy year trying to stay on top of everything. But we'll be thrilled to do that next year. Yeah, they do have a lot of fun. Everybody's really enthusiastic about performing in those senior centers. It's a little less pressure. I do run you used to run more formal recitals for my students, which are still important as well. And after COVID is over, I will definitely be getting back into that. But it'll be nice to get it back into the senior centers live as well. So, okay, the April Morning Waltz. I think the other nice thing too is as much fun as I have multi-tracking and playing duets and chamber music with myself, it's going to be so much more fun again to do it with other people. That and getting back into dancing. Oh man, I miss dancing, and I miss all of our dance friends. We did have a fun little video game, or well, not just video games. We had a fun game night last night on Zoom. One of my dance partner, it was her birthday, and I haven't seen her in months, except online from time to time. And so she arranged a little game night for everybody, and that was a lot of fun. Lots of fun, big laughs. All right, I'll get back to fiddle tunes in a bit. Let's see what else. I still haven't recorded any of the other parts for these jazz pieces yet. But you know what? I feel like playing La Folia, so I'm going to do that. I don't play this one very often, but it's a great theme and variations. go. Alrighty. Yeah, that one's always fun. Sometimes those double stops can be tricky, but it's fun. And my violin is finally a little happier now that the weather is starting to get a little bit warmer again. Boy, my violin and my viola are usually very stable, even in the worst weather. But and they haven't left the house, in months. But just with this cold, dry snap we had the last week or so, oh man, my instruments have never been quite that unstable. So I'll be happy once the weather warms up and once it starts to get a little bit more humid again. Of course, when it was this cold too, I had to turn off the humidifier as well because their windows were just sweating way too badly and it was causing some damage. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to have to let everything dry out for now. As it gets warmer though, I'll pump that back on again. I think I was mentioning to you guys earlier that I was like up on my roof clearing my solar panels yesterday. Solar was one thing we added to try to, help reduce costs. And Kikiza, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, solar panels were one thing that we added to help save some money and help reduce our carbon footprint. But I think another big money saver is when we replace all the windows in the house. The previous owner of this house put new windows in, but they're not very good. So we're going to try to beef them up with something a little bit better. And some of the windows haven't been replaced. Our living room window is still like the original one from the 1960s, and it has like almost no insulating value at all. So once we get that done, we'll be able to keep the interior environment of our house a little bit more stable, including the humidity levels, which will be great for my instruments. So, alrighty, Kikiza, how are you doing? All right, let's see. Let's play some Corelli. Good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a busy week, but I've been having some fun, regaling everybody with stories on my stream about my projects in my wood shop, plus my recording projects. I'm not recording anything like too fancy right now. I just recorded some educational videos. If you want to watch me playing scales, I'm going to upload that later. Otherwise, if you prefer the music, I've got lots of musical stuff. Obviously live on my stream, but on my YouTube channel as well. So check that out. But yeah, I've been having I've been having so much fun in my wood shop, just building my workbenches and making some other things, and of course too people hear me talk about like home construction stuff all the time as well. It's crazy because I'm a professional violinist, but I'm a carpenter too, and it's lots of fun. Just got to be careful with my fingers, which is why I leave the blade guard on my table saw And someday I'd like to buy one of those saw stops. That's just, they're expensive, but it's just a good idea. Someday. But for now, I've kind of created my own cabinet saw by taking my portable contractor saw and working it into my workbench as an insert, so that I actually have a large cabinet saw and large outfeed table with the benches that I've been building. And then once I get storage spaces made, I'll have storage for all the different parts of the toys that I make, and then I'll be making like furniture and stuff as well. So, all right, let's see. Oh, I always like playing these two back to back. The Chemney Kids jig and the Raspberry Hill jig. Fun, fun. All right, I'm going to try this one again. The last time I played this one, it didn't go that well. Let's see. But I feel, and my fingers have finally warmed up. I was just noticing that, like the last two songs I was playing, I was like, ooh, I'm not ice cold anymore. This is good. So I find too, like this streaming every weekend. I mean, I'm not really doing anything terribly fancy, and I'm like, I go through my favorites. Well, this is what a lot of professionals do. They play the same stuff over and over again because they get really good at it, and you can do so many different things with it. Of course, I'm always trying to add something new as well to keep it fresh. But now, like streaming the last few weeks, I feel like my playing has gotten so much better. And so this is again a lesson to all my students: do your review. It really does feel good because it makes you feel like like you can actually play really well because you're repeating stuff all the time. So this hopefully will help now with this piece, which I haven't played very often, but that was the other thing I tell my students all the time as well, is the more you review, the easier it is going to be to play new music or even to sight read some simpler stuff. So let's see how this goes. Let's just double check where all my repeats are on key signature and any other extra markings. So that repeats, and that goes back to the beginning, and it starts in D major, and the second half's in A major. Okay. And there we go. Much better this time. All right, let's see. I think I've played this one before too. I really have to start tracking which fiddle tunes I've been playing. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, I played this one before. It's so cool because this one reminds me of, and well, the caption under it is composed while driving through a beautiful wooded area between Kenora and Winnipeg. And if any of you have ever driven that, it's absolutely just gorgeous. It's when you first leave Winnipeg, heading in that direction. There's really not much to see. I mean, Winnipeg is in the middle of the prairies, and so it's pretty much just surrounded by flat land, much like most of Alberta, or well, at least around where I am. If you're in southern Alberta, there's lots of beautiful mountains and things and stuff like that to see, but Manitoba is largely prairie. So when you're leaving Winnipeg and heading east, there's really not a whole lot to see until you start getting closer to the Ontario border, and then you get into the Canadian Shield, and you start seeing all these beautiful rock formations and driving on these narrow roads through cut rock, and then you get into the forests of Ontario, and that is just absolutely gorgeous as you start to get towards Kenora and Lake of the Woods. Just incredible. I have some friends out there. My best friend actually, who unfortunately passed away years ago, but her family's out there, and they've got a cabin on the lake, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out there. Mm-hmm. There's this Prairie Fiddler's Jig, which is full of double stops. I definitely haven't played this one before. Let's try some sight reading. A major, 2 repeats. These double stops, it looks like they just have drones. No, I have played this one before. Yep. Gonna have to add that to the list of stuff that I already know. I think what I'm probably going to have to do is at some point, I'm just going to have to start going through this whole book in order and just like play everything in it over the course of several streams. There's 100 fiddle tunes in this book. So if I even just did 5 or, a few of them each stream, could probably have it done in about 10 weeks. Some of them I'll have to look at beforehand though, because some of them aren't quite sight readable. And then, of course, I've got like other fiddle tunes in different collections that I need to bring back. Fly in the Puddin'. I keep forgetting to haul out the music for that. I definitely need to bring that one back, but that one needs to be practiced. I cannot sight read the parts because that is a really difficult fiddle tune. So I think I was talking to everybody last week about some of the stuff that I did while I was in school, though, too, like compositions and sound design, and talking about recording technology and things like that. I still need to haul out my mini discs to bring out some of those old recordings and find out where I stored them. Yes, you heard that correctly. Mini disc. If anybody of you out there doesn't know what a mini disc is, I can't really blame you, because it was a recording technology that never really took off. They were the next step up from CDs, and well, not really DVDs, but in terms of audio, they were the next step up from CDs. But mini disc didn't last very long because it was quickly overtaken by solid state technology. Once the flash drive was invented, that was it for recording technology that used moving parts. But when I went to Brandon University and I worked as an audio engineer there, we did all of our master copies on mini disc, and all of our backups were either sent to tape or computer, or DAT tape. And then if we were, then we could use our computer backups, or we could transfer things into the computer if we were doing any kind of editing and things like that, in which case the mini disc itself was our backup. But whenever we did live performances, they were just recorded on mini disc. For a few people, anybody who had the capability of taking those mini discs and still using them themselves got to use them. So it was a little glass disc. CDs are made out of plastic, but mini discs were made out of glass, and they were put inside of a protective case that the machine would open. So they looked like little floppy disks, actually, but they were like maybe 2.5 inches square. And so it had a plastic sheath on it with a glass disc inside. And so I've got a ton of recordings on mini disc because I used the technology for quite a while. It was a great way to record without using magnetic storage. And just before flash drives were invented and before I started recording directly to my computer. So I got to start transferring some of that stuff. And my glass clouds composition is on one of those mini discs. So I got to find it. So, as well as some of my recitals that I played while I was in school, which I probably will not, I'm not going to let those recordings out because I'm like a way different musician now than I was back then. It's interesting to go back and listen to some of those recordings yourself, but I think the only one I'll probably end up putting up on my stream is the Glass Clouds one, because that was really, really cool. And I can't play it right now because I don't have the technology to play the piece. So a recording will be all you get out of that one. So, yeah. Anyway. Mini discs. Oh, man. Cassette tapes. Some of my students don't know what those look like anymore either. All right. Here's some Dvorak for you. And then I think it might be time for a break after that. So I'm going to play the Humoresque by Dvorak and then flip it over to the intermission screen with one of my previous highlights and rest my shoulders for a few minutes. got a little distracted at the beginning, and I think I repeated something that I don't usually repeat, but it worked. Sometimes you just got to roll with it. Make it sound like part of the piece. Make it sound beautiful. There you go. The extended version. All right. Hey, welcome back. He's all. I'm gonna figuring out different ways of pronouncing your name. Anyway, I'm gonna take a 6 minute break and leave you with the highlight from a few weeks ago. But I will be back, so don't go anywhere. I will see you all in a few minutes. Oops, I messed that up. Oh well. I was checking to see if why one of my counters is malfunctioning, and I forgot that it was probably going to mess up my intermission screen. Sorry about that. I haven't messed anything up like that on stream in a while though, but you know, happens. That violin chick, she's somebody I follow and I talk a lot about a lot at times, and of course when you're doing live music or when you're doing live streaming, you know, stuff happens every so often. One of her mods always likes to rub it in whenever she messes something up, and he's kept a tally of how many times she's screwed something up on stream, not musically, like technically, like messing up one of the settings or doing something weird like that. So there we go. I don't know what my count is. I still think I can count my number of technical screw ups on both my hands, so it's not that bad. But she's been streaming for 3 years or almost 4, so yeah, you're going to have your moments, right? So, got to roll with it. All right. Back we go to some music. And let's see. I haven't played anything out of this Gypsy Jazz book in a while. But there's very little I can play out of here that stands well on its own until I get some of the other parts recorded. Might have to, well, let's see. Nope. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that one. Let's dig into some more fiddle tunes. I'm going to start at the back of the book this time and see. All right, let's try sight reading this one. Back. You play minuet. Can you play minuet in G? Yes, I can. I did actually play it earlier in the stream, but I think a lot of people have cycled in and out. Probably have like mostly a different audience by now. But for anybody who was here earlier, I'm going to play it again. It's just a lovely, lovely piece. I really don't get tired of playing that one. It's a wonderful piece of music. All right, I'm just gonna double check something here. Okay, never mind. There we go. I'm just my stream is stable, but I'm checking the quality settings. My wife's been doing a lot more online too, and so I'm looking at upgrading our internet package. I only broadcast in 480p right now because that's all our internet package can handle. But it looks like for only like an extra $6 or $7 a month, I can double my upload speed and then maybe double it up and maybe start streaming in high def, at least 720p. Mom's here. Hi, Mom. How's it going? take you to learn a piece off by heart? It depends on the piece. Shorter ones, not very long at all, actually. I can, if I'm listening to the recording and practicing it, I can probably get a piece like that memorized in maybe a few days or a few hours. As for some of the bigger, longer pieces, like if I'm working on a concerto, which I haven't done in a long time, it can take me months to memorize and master it because it's just that big and that complex. So it all comes down to a variety of factors. So for some of the music, and if you don't play it regularly, you do start to forget. Most of my upper level repertoire is not memorized anymore. It used to be. But because my repertoire list is so large now, I can't possibly review all of it all the time. So I'll have to rememorize some of that stuff. So you'll see that I'm flipping through books every once in a while on stream. Even when I'm playing like some of the other Suzuki repertoire in the upper books, I use the music because it's no longer memorized. But that's the other thing too. The more you perform, the more you start to commit that stuff to memory. So I imagine I'll probably get some of this other music re-memorized over the next few months as I stream more. So there you go. Oftentimes though, like so many of my performances, I don't need to have memorized anymore because I do a lot of chamber music, and I do at least pre-pandemic and hopefully post-pandemic when my live shows start up again, lots of orchestral music, and I get new charts all the time, so you don't have to have those memorized. But a lot of my simpler solo stuff, yeah. So. Well played. Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that piece. So, all right. I'm going to try sight reading this. You know what? Yes, I have played this one before, but I think I've only ever sight read it once or twice before. So I'm pretty much still sight reading it. The Faceless Fiddler. Yeah, I think this should go better this time. Whoops. I think I can probably count on more than just my hands how many times I've screwed up something musically on the stream. Yeah, it's got this key change. Oh, there we go. Okay, so next time it'll probably be much better. But you gotta have some fun with some of this stuff. Oh boy, what's this? Let's see. No, not that one. Not those. Reels are harder to play and a little harder to sight read. Oh, let's see. Nope, not going to sight read that one. Not feeling that adventurous right now. Okay, here's one of my favorites. Let me open up my duet files. always a favorite. Short but fun. All right, we'll close that one. And dive back into some Veracini. One of those ones that I used to have memorized, but it's not far off from being memorized again. I performed that one a few times now over the last couple weeks, and like I said, that alone can really help you polish up a piece. All right, here's one that is memorized. The Gavotte by Martini. Alrighty. I haven't played Devil's Dream in a while. Let's do that one. Little extended version. I thought, well, where can I add some repeats? Make it a little bit more interesting. There we go. Boil them cabbage. Actually, I figured out double stops for that shaving a haircut. There we go. That's better. Yeah, there. Gives it a little bit more color. It's always fun to kind of experiment with your music too. Got to fix my shoulder pad here. Take some artistic license with a few of them, add stuff. I mean, it depends on what you're playing, of course. Fiddle tunes are kind of neat because you can do some different things with them. There's a lot of classical and Baroque music you can as well, but there's certain rules to follow when you're interpreting certain types of music. Actually, there's rules to follow when you're interpreting any kind of music, but some forms are a little bit more flexible than others. But it's really remarkable how similar fiddle and jazz and stuff like that is to Baroque music. I mean, after all, that's kind of where our modern tonal system really got its start. It was the Baroque era that established I'm pretty sure that it was the Baroque era that established the 5-line staff. Bach himself was instrumental in establishing most of the rules that we still follow in our Western tonal systems today. Those were used right through the classical era and through the Romantic era, and we still used it in the 20th century and are still using it now. Most pop music is still based on that tonal system. Other tonal systems have been invented, and I think many of you have heard me talk about this before, but we've got 12-tone serialism and the axis system, as well as a few others that all came out of the original Western tonal system and were kind of invented and lumped on top as something different, or as kind of an evolution of our current major minor system. And then of course you've got all the other tonal systems from different cultures which are even more ancient, right? Indian and Chinese tonal systems go way back, thousands of years, whereas a lot of our modern Western tonal system has only been in use for about 300 or 400 years, so quite young by comparison. I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway. But it is fascinating stuff, and being able to improvise in these tonal systems is, or in the Western tonal system anyway, the major minor system is useful. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm getting there. So, that's right. Talking about artistic license and things like that. Yeah, definitely rules to follow in each one, and but yeah, everything's based on that. Most modern Western music is based on that Baroque and classical tonal system, major minor. I haven't played any serial like 12-tone works yet on stream or any Axis system works, but if any of you have ever listened to anything by Bartok, there's a good chance you've heard something in the Axis system, which actually in some respects doesn't really sound all that different than the major minor system, because it is based on the major minor system. The Axis system, though, changes the function of some of the chords. I discovered this when I was writing a paper on a piece by Bartok. I was analyzing the first movement of Bartok's First Rhapsody for piano and violin, and I had one very, very difficult time trying to figure out how the math was working out in music. I was using major minor rules to analyze it, and it just wasn't coming out right. And so I finally talked to my professor, and he was like, go look up the Axis system. And as soon as I did that, and it's like it was like super easy to understand. If you already understand the major minor system, the Axis system is so easy to get. As soon as I figured out how the Axis system worked, I was able to analyze the piece and write a 10-page paper on it. And I was like, good, there we go. So I might have to resurrect that piece. That was a fun piece to play, but it's another one of those ones that I have to re-practice because it's a really, really difficult piece of music. It'd be fun to get back into some Bartok again, though. Even if I just like played the, what's it called? The Romanian folk, Romanian? Yes, Romanian folk dances. I got so many titles rolling around in my brain. Anyway. But speaking of Baroque music, actually it was really fun when I was pre-pandemic, and those of you who know me, I know that I'm a dancer as well. I do swing dancing, Lindy Hop, Charleston, all that stuff. And sometimes we would have these live music nights at the Sugar Swing Ballroom, and jam nights. And the band would come in and play live music for the dancers. But if it was a jam night, anybody else who could play a musical instrument at all could sit in with the band and just kind of jam with them. And I'm not very comfortable with improvising, but they had the charts and everything there anyway. So I was able to go read the music, and I started kind of doodling around with it on my violin. And I just fell back on like all my Baroque training to play the jazz, and it worked out perfectly. So here is a Baroque piece, not a jazz piece. Here's a Baroque piece. Bach, the man who started most of what we have today. Actually, because jazz and fiddle and other stuff is so similar to Baroque music in a lot of ways, just with like different inflections and stylings, you can take a lot of Baroque music and turn it into jazz. And a lot of people have jazzified Bach's music. Some classical music actually fits well into like rock or disco. Bands like Metallica have used symphonic orchestras. And one of the live performances that I do every year when pandemic is not, canceling, ruining everything, is a symphonic rock concert with a big. It's a symphony orchestra, and we rock out. We play classic rock. And those of you who know me well here on stream know that I'm big on my classic rock, especially AC/DC. But like Metallica, like a more modern band, but the old stuff, AC/DC, Queen, Zeppelin, like really good classics. And a lot of rock like that is based on more classical influences. Classical, often romantic, and sometimes even early 20th century. I know the boys at AC/DC like their Tchaikovsky. Oh, gotta love Tchaikovsky. But yeah, so it's all connected. It's really really neat stuff. There's one that's sticking out in my mind right now. Is one of my colleagues out in Montreal, who often conducts student orchestras, was hired to be a guest clinician at a workshop in my hometown, and there's this piece by Bach. It's well, for those of you that know, it's the Concerto for Two Violins. Of course, I'm not going to play the whole thing right now because I can't play both parts. I haven't recorded the other one yet. But that's the opening bit. And he had the orchestra at the workshop that year play a really, really jazzed up version as a surprise for one of the other teachers. And it was kind of like... it was really, really fun. I don't remember the entire thing, but it was pretty good. Vanessa May took some pieces by Bach and turned them into like techno. That was kind of neat. But yeah, I'm thinking now about this disco version of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony too, which I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard. It was pretty neat. So there's bands like or groups. Shouldn't really say band. This is more of a chamber music group. There's a group called Bond that does a lot of really cool stuff. Arrangements of classical music that have been turned into everything from kind of disco-ish to pop kind of rock. I'm not really sure how to describe them, but they're pretty awesome. And then, of course, there's groups like Apocalyptica that do heavy metal on their cellos. One of their first albums was a tribute album to a lot of stuff by Metallica, which is where I got my arrangement of, or rather a friend of mine got an arrangement of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which I've played on stream before, not on cello, obviously, but I recorded all the parts on my violin. I heard some more, Enter Sandman on the radio yesterday. I'm like, I need to get an arrangement of that one because that one's also really good on stringed instruments. So all these things, like so many ideas. It's gonna take me years to explore all of them and to play them for you. Everything from Baroque through to New Age, 20th century, 21st century music, rock. Not so much pop. I don't play a lot of pop music, but rock, maybe a little bit of pop music, fiddle, jazz. I still haven't even dug out my Django fake book yet, which I had mentioned like weeks ago on my stream. I'm like, yeah, I should do some jazz, like the old style jazz that we dance to, but not yet. All right, let's see. Here's a fun, lighthearted one. That's called Perpetual Motion from Little Sweet Number 6 by Baum. I've never really figured out how to pronounce the guy's name. Because I've seen that name pronounced like several different ways. All right. I also don't know much about that piece. I should look it up. I'm not even sure what era it's from. It's definitely built on classical rules. Classical and Baroque rule. Common practice. That's what we'll call it. That was always what it was referred to when I was in university. Common practice theory. And when I was in university, my undergrad, I was terrible at it. Now I understand it. Trying to make sure that my students have that understanding as well, in case any of them want to go into university level music. So, all right. So, speaking of techno Bach, I'm not going to play techno Bach, but I'm going to play another piece by Bach that was turned into kind of like a cool techno piece by Vanessa May. This is the last movement of the E major partita. Light and peppy. Oh yeah, I forgot this sketch of Bach was in the front of this book. Hang on. So every so often I've got I've always got to show my students this book, right? Because this book is a big deal for a lot of violinists. I don't know, I know less than half of the pieces in here, but this is standard material for more advanced violinists. So I do know a bit of it, but I haven't had any of my own students work on any of this stuff yet. But when talking to them about Bach and where they might be headed someday, I always hold this book up as an example. And I always forget that there's this sketch of Bach in the front of the book that just looks really, really creepy. Because whoever drew it did some interesting things with the shading, and it looks like one of his eyes is wandering off to the side. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's like that makes him look like he's got a lazy eye. So that's always entertaining to show my students that. There's better paintings and portraits of Bach online, but I always found this one to be particularly fascinating because of the way it was sketched. All right. Let's see. Let's bring back some of this repertoire today. You know, I just realized what time it was. It's almost 10 to 6 here, and I'm still raring to go. This is the other thing, too. It's like the more I play, the easier it's getting again. Like when I first started streaming, my shoulders were killing me. It took me a bit to get my endurance back, but I'm getting that back now. I'm relaxing more now when I perform again, which is another good reason for doing your review and sticking to a good solid repertoire list. Students, yes. So yeah, just lots of fun to play. And sometimes I don't realize I've been going on for like almost 2 hours, playing some of this stuff. So, well, let's see. I'm going to play, this one's got a gnarly page turn in it. But let's see. The Eccles Sonata. That one's always a lot of fun. Can't wait to get some piano tracks laid down for that again. Thank you for the dinner music during our Valentine's dinner. Yeah, you're welcome. I figured there might be some people tuning in, kind of adding this to the romantic mood today. Dinner music. Actually, that's fun. One time, actually not well, more than one time. I've busked at classy restaurants a few times. It's a weird experience actually, but it's fun. It's lots of fun, and of course too, like, definitely, I was hired at least twice on Valentine's Day to busk at a fancy restaurant, and you know, your stereotypical strolling violinist leaning over people at the dinner table. I didn't lean that close though. That would have been a little awkward and kind of creepy probably. So, all right. I'm going to check on that violin chick and see if she is. I know she's online a lot today. She was doing a video game stream and then she's switching to music probably pretty soon. And then after her music stream, she's going back to video games. I can't remember what she's playing today, but I'm just going to see what her status is because I got a notification that she's switching to music now. So we might raid her after I play my last piece. Just bear with me for 1 second while I go and check out her channel. And let's see. Her intermission screen is running right now, and people are playing a Scrabble type game on her intermission screen. So she'll be along eventually. Thank you so much. We enjoyed the whole thing. Oh yeah, no problem. I'm going to play one more piece here for sure, and then I'll probably kick it over to that violin chick if anybody's sticking around. So here we go. One of my favorites. I play it almost every week. Alrighty then. So I think, yeah, she's still on her intermission screen, but I know she's kicking it over to the music fairly soon. So we're going to raid her channel. I haven't raided anybody in a while, so we're going to do that. And so if you're sticking around, enjoy that violin chick. She plays some awesome stuff. She does pop rock covers. She does her own compositions and stuff like that. She plays on this wicked V-shaped blue electric violin. I think it's called the Viper. Yeah, seems like an appropriate name for that instrument. So Q watched in rapt attention for that. Oh, the one I just played, the tambourin. Is that one of her favorites now too? Huh, awesome. Well, I'll have to make sure I like I said, that's one of my standards, so I'll probably play it all the time. I will. I still need to get the piano tracks for that one. That's going to make it a whole lot better. when I start getting more tracks in for these things. So anyway, I don't know exactly how quickly that violin chick is going to be back, but we're going to rate her channel because I know she's online right now. And so I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for joining me today. I will be back next Sunday with more great music. And if you're one of my students who is struggling with your 3-octave scales, check out my YouTube channel later tonight or early tomorrow because I'm uploading scale tutorials tonight, starting with a G major set, or not G major, G and G minor. So if you're up for that, educational videos are going up on my YouTube channel fairly soon. All right, we're kicking it over. Oops, not host. Raid. All right, we're raiding that violin chick. Good night, everybody.